Thank you everybody for jumping on today. I really appreciate it. I'm Anna Hansen with ByteSpeed, and I'm excited to be here today with our partners at Avigilon. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I want to share with you what I believe the reason this partnership matters so much to us is, and honestly, it's simple. We're incredibly like-minded in how we serve the organizations we work with, very few of which have unlimited budgets, but they still need enterprise security options. And what I love about Avigilon's approach is that upgrading your security, it doesn't really mean starting over. It can mean building from where you're at right now and practical, cost-effective ways to move forward. So that's the focus of the conversation today. We're not here to sell you the newest shiny thing just because it's new. Matt is going to show you practical, budget-friendly ways to modernize physical security, ways that extend the life of your existing investments if that's what you need to do, while still improving safety and reliability. By the end of the webinar, the goal is for you to walk away with clear options for migrating off legacy systems, a better understanding of how the Alta ecosystem can simplify operations, and a roadmap that balances what you need right now and where you want to go in the future. Super excited to have Matt here. He's been with Avigilon for 6 years. He brings a tremendous depth of experience across the physical security, cloud-based video, and access control. What I really appreciate about you, Matt, is that you don't just know the technology, you understand how it gets deployed in the real world with real budgets, real constraints, and the real outcomes that matter. You've worked in organizations at every stage of their security journey. I think that makes you pretty much the perfect person to translate what Avigilon can do into what actually makes sense for all of our attendees here today. So I'm going to tell you guys, please put in any questions in the chat or Q&A, and I'll make sure that we're covering them as we go through the conversation today. And with that, I'm just going to say, Matt, we're glad you're here, and we're looking forward to your perspective today, and can't wait to see what you've got to share with us. Matt, just so you know, your audio is on mute.
Interesting. But my audio's not on mute now. Is that
Now
correct?
we got you. Now we
All
got
right.
you.
Well, let's try that again. How about now?
We got you.
Perfect.
All
I figured
right.
it out. I found the button.
All right.
The button was hiding for me. So, like I was saying to myself, I appreciate the opportunity to share with everybody and the invitation from ByteSpeed to be a part of this webinar. We continue to grow our partnership in ways that is really exciting to us, and with our shared opportunity and vision here, I think we're really gonna we've put together some great things, and we'll continue to do that and grow as we move together forward. A little bit more on me. Again, as Anna mentioned, about just coming up on 6 years here at Motorola, and have been specifically focused on the cloud part of our business for the last 3.5 or so. That's obviously where things are moving, and it's going to be the focus of our conversation today. From time to time, I'll interject some things about other parts of the set of solutions that Motorola and Avigilon bring to the table, and we hope to provide you some additional perspective on what's available out there and how things can work. And again, as Anna said, how do we get you the best opportunity to move forward with modernizing your security infrastructure in ways that make sense for you budgetarily and from a planning perspective. I have come through a number of different places that provide some perspective for me. First in an integrator space in the AV world, and worked a lot in the K through 12 space while I was doing that about 15 years ago. Before that, I was actually a K through 12, or really a middle school and high school music teacher. So I come out of the K-12 space and spent about 10 years doing that and know that space very, very well. Also, spent some time in the banking industry, and again, now I've been here at Motorola for 6 years. So those that sort of adventure along the way has provided some, I think, interesting perspective related to the way that different businesses work and how what we talk about on a regular basis in terms of physical security and overall safety impact the way that you maybe do business every day. So again, we're going to focus on Avigilon Alta. Alta is our cloud native solution related to what we do in video security and access control. Typically and historically, what we've seen out there and potentially what you're working with today is a system that is what we all talk about as a legacy system. Usually involves servers holding your video, usually very passive, usually something that you're going to investigate later and maybe take some time and energy to try to figure out. If you're doing access control as well, it potentially is disconnected from what you're doing on the video side and becomes difficult to make sure that those things work together. Today's video security and access control infrastructure goes beyond that typical investigative world that we were all used to for so long and adds in a number of layers that I think are significant and that we'll try to fold in as we talk through what we do today. A couple of them are that we can be much more proactive. AI has become a huge part of who it is, what we do in video security and access control. And Avigilon has been a part of that space since very early on. Avigilon was a company way back in 2004 and began integrating what we now refer to as AI, what was always talked about as analytics, into our video security portfolio back in 2008. And so we've done this for a long time. The early focus in Avigilon was about high resolution cameras and getting better views of the things that were out there. Obviously, we've come to this place where that's parity. We're all kind of looking at cameras that are strong and powerful, hopefully. If that's the layer that you need, though, that is something that we're experts at and have been for a long time. Folding in the things that are updating what we're doing now, getting to the cloud, having a robust solution for the cloud, both in video security and access control, but adding in some other layers, and we'll talk about those as we get into them. But the things that you can do with video today, what you should expect out of a robust and modern system, things like the ability to count people in spaces and do something with the data related to those spaces. The example that my colleagues hear me often use and the team at ByteSpeed will hear me often tell stories about are things like, I'm a show choir dad and a band dad. I've got 3 kids that all went through a music program in the high school where we live. And we host every year a marching band competition in the fall and a show choir competition in the winter. And in order to do that effectively as a school district, it's important that you have not only the right volunteers to help the day go off without a hitch, but cleaning staff from the school district to be able to make sure that everything's ready for the school the next day or the day after when things get back to normal and it's the school again. How do we justify how many folks from the school are there doing that well without over or understaffing so that everything can happen without a hitch? We're doing that by counting people. In the same events for that marching band competition in the fall, how do we know that we're able to keep everybody safe and secure across an entire campus, outside and in? Oftentimes, PD might want very specific data related to how many folks are coming throughout the course of the day and when the busiest times are and those kind of things. If you can count people and understand where things are happening, you have the ability to justify a request from the district and from local PD to be able to get that solution done well and keep people safe. Those are important things that you should expect to be able to see in any modern security system, and we'll bring those up to the front. Now, the other parts of that, I mentioned PD, I mentioned larger safety and security conversations. The nice part about who we are and what we do at Avigilon is that we're part of Motorola Solutions. And Motorola is a company that's been around since the 1920s. And the primary focus of our business is on the right-hand side of this very busy slide. But there's a lot of information here related to critical communications. We're talking about local PD, county sheriff, state trooper, E911, emergency like ambulance and fire, all the different entities that are really critical to make sure that they are there when you need them and there as quickly as possible. The core of Motorola's business is about making sure those people have can arrive as quickly as possible to the communication that we provide and have all the tools they need to do the job as well as possible. Now we're going to focus down into this very top part in cloud security and access control. But all of what we're going to talk about today is connected on the back end to that emergency management, 911, critical communications backbone that Motorola is a part of. And understanding how easy it is to take things to that next level because of the way that Motorola does what we do. We have about a 65 to 70% market share in the US of places across the country where Motorola radio is at the heart of emergency communications. So the odds are pretty good that you're going to have the ability to leverage local PD communications and add into what you're doing in video security and access control. So I'll come back to that as we move through. Again, we're going to focus on the cloud security side of things because that's where I live and breathe every day. We have a very robust on-premise solution that we call Avigilon Unity. Some of you might know that. Some of you might already be using that. The ability to do the things that we talk about throughout this time together today. Understand that I'm going to talk about it focused on the cloud, but the overwhelming majority of what we talk about in the cloud is also something that is present in the on-premise solution if that's something that you need to be able to take advantage of. Avigilon Alta is a cloud-native video security solution that has a number of layers in here. Again, things that you've things that you've learned to expect out of a strong cloud-native video security and access control solution. So it's video and access on the left. Protect in the middle is our what you could call an intrusion solution, whether it's just the ability to set an alarm, or maybe you need some kind of a central station solution to be able to monitor your site overnight. We have that ability to be folded in. Each of these solutions that we're talking about stand apart all by themselves and are strong, robust solutions. They don't require you to do all the other things, but it enhances your ability to take advantage of the features and functions within each one. The mailroom piece is exactly what it sounds like. As a school district or an apartment building or a large corporation, if you receive a number of packages every day, your ability to simply get those around to people is pretty significant. And if you can organize that in a way that makes it easy, the system can take that on as a part of the pie. And in addition, the other big one here is the Avigilon Alta visitor solution. This is going to do exactly what it sounds like. People will check in at the door. Through that process, we will scan an ID, and the ID will be run through databases, both of sex offender database and a felony conviction database. So we're walking through all the things that are required of, as an example, if I'm a school district, do I have people walking into my school buildings that are not only belong here, maybe have an appointment, but are safe for the kids to be around and should be inside of our district? Those things are being done on the backside of what's there. And as you can see on the far right, Avigilon Alta SOS is going to be a further enhancement to our system that comes this year, this calendar year. And that will be a more direct connection straight to the 911 center that in your local municipality or county, depending on where you are. And the ability for this system to provide those individuals on the emergency side immediate access to your data, geolocated examples of who's around and what's going on, and easy communication with those that are carrying radios. So all kinds of different things. Now, what happens if you're not currently in the cloud? Typically, what this has meant is a forklift rip and replace conversation historically the last couple of years. In the Avigilon Alta world, that's just not the case. We certainly can provide a robust opportunity for you to get great cameras that are ours and cloud native. At the same time, 70 to 75%, maybe even 80% of the camera infrastructure that's out there today, as long as it's not too old, and as long as it's meeting the industry standard, what's called ONVIF compliant S, that standard will allow us more than likely to bring that camera in. And every camera we bring in has the ability to do all of the analytic features that we offer in our portfolio on the Alta side. That means things like people counting, heat mapping, appearance searches, facial recognition, all kinds of things that those older cameras never were intended to be able to do. We bring them into our system, and that's an easy thing to be able to bring to those cameras as long as they can come in. We're also doing that with the Mercury hardware and ACUs that potentially exist in your door access solutions, bringing those in and allowing an infrastructure investment that you've made over the course of years potentially to continue to be leveraged for as long as you need to monetize that investment. That's a really important part of being a good steward of the investment dollars that you potentially have, whether you're a corporation or an education institution or a healthcare facility. It's important that you spend your money wisely and that the investment that you have is going to be able to be used in the long run. Now, the other thing about this means on the Alta side is that we're also not going to lock you into our solution only. So we believe that we're putting the best in breed out in the marketplace, and that we will always continue to advance the solution. Down the road, 3 years from now, let's say right now today, somebody's in their garage in Cupertino, California, designing the next amazing thing related to video security and access control, because it is likely happening. How do we combat that? How do we make sure that not only that we're doing everything we can to provide you the strongest solution out there, which we will continue to do every day, but if you find that solution 3 years down the road that you must have for whatever reason, we have designed our equipment also to be able to be leveraged in other people's solutions. We will allow you out. We don't like it. We will fight for you, but at the same time, if it's an investment that you need to make and a change that has to happen, will not only allow you out, will assist you with gathering any video that you need that's historical, any information that might be related to what's happening, will help you get everything that you need, and will wish you well in the next solution that you have to be able to be a part of. And the infrastructure with us that you've invested in will be something you can continue to use. And that's a really important thing for us. We want to make sure that the open platform side of our business is at the focus of what it is that we do, and we'll continue to do that. It's also designed to be as easy as possible. Today, now it's wherever you can get to access to your video and access from any point, as long as you have internet access, we can get you that same information. Need to see the video on my phone or on my iPad. I'm an athletic director out in the fields on a Saturday morning, but somebody's knocking at the locker room door and I don't have the time to run in and get it. I can get that notification on my phone, see that someone's there that belongs in the locker room, and open that door for them before that the schedule goes off for the door access. It's easy to do, and something that we want to make it in your hands as easy as possible to operate, no matter who you are. As I mentioned earlier, we are at the beginnings of who we are as Avigilon. We're a camera company. It's what we do. It's what we've done for a long time. So we have a robust solution related to the number of cameras that we have out there, just about any flavor you can think of, and in a variety of retention period allowances. So once you make the investment into Avigilon video cameras, now we're talking about how much video do you want to retain. And depending on the size and scope of the particular camera, we can do anything from 7 days to 365 days of storage on the camera itself in an SD card. And so that variety of solutions will provide you the right camera in the right location to do the job that you need it to do. In addition, if we're taking over your existing camera infrastructure, we utilize a fleet of what we call cloud connectors. These are servers with a Linux backend put on them that we provide all the updates for. And we're going to get you the right solution, the right size, the right number of camera lenses that it can handle. And we're going to optimize that solution for you so that it functions the way that you need it to. And you have the ability to invest the least amount of money possible for the strongest solution that you're looking for in that individual location. Same thing on the access control side. We have a broad scope of products and solutions, including an input-output board that allows us to grab and expand. We can take existing sensors and other things that are in a solution or in a location and bring them into our solution and allow you to, for instance, see a door open without having to invest specifically in something that we're giving you. We're just going to let you bring that sensor into our system and trigger off of it from the access control side to the video side. Easy to do, and something that we want to make sure, again, that you have the ability to leverage the investments that you've made over time. The other part of what we do that's a really strong conversation in a lot of different places is that Motorola acquired a company called IP Video just a couple of years ago. IP Video was they owned and operated the Halo sensor. And think of Halo, if you're not familiar, as the sort of Kleenex of the facial tissue world. Halo is the name that we all talk about when we talk about environmental sensors, specifically things like vape sensors. That's kind of where people focus the idea, but the Halo brings so much more to the table. And so this becomes a really important tool in a variety of different places, depending on what it is that you're trying to solve for. I'm going to take a quick pause. Any questions at this point about the things that we've talked about so far, or things you'd like more information on right away?
Nothing in the chat so far. So I always think that's a bit of a compliment when people aren't asking too many questions because you're covering a lot of information and doing it well. But we would love anything you guys have to throw in there, even if it's just relevant to your personal environment. Drop it in there and might as well take advantage of having Matt here.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about it. And again, with that middle school student background as a teacher for 10 years, you're not going to throw me off. We'll be okay. I'll get right back on track where we need to go from an informational perspective. So appreciate it. As people have ideas and things that they want to know more about, please don't hesitate.
Love that.
So we talked a little bit early about this larger scope of things that are relevant to the conversation related to safety. We live in an unfortunate time in the world where we're all thinking about things that we shouldn't have to be thinking about in our environments, like active shooter drills and things of that nature. The importance of the event like that happens is that we can react quickly, and that the reaction initially provides as much assistance as possible, as quickly as possible. This goes back to the things that we talked about earlier with the side of Motorola that is radio and critical communications, and how do we roll all that in? So what I'm going to do really quick here is just play you a video. As I do this, you'll get a picture of how do we take advantage of those things, what's involved, and you'll see a variety of things come through on the left-hand side of this video showing you what part of the Motorola ecosystem is being taken advantage of at the time. Again, on the back end of this, hopefully what we're going to see as we complete this is how can we get people involved as quickly as possible in a critical event, if and
Matt,
when it happens.
Matt, before we jump into the video, can we go back a slide? I've got a couple of questions for you.
Sure. Yeah.
One is someone's asking about multi-lens options.
Sure.
So I think that was there you go.
Yeah. So within our scope, over here on the left-hand side is a picture of a multi-lens kind of hanging out on the backside. So today in the Alta video perspective, 2-lens, 3-lens, and 4-lens multi-sensor that go everywhere from 3-megapixel lenses all the way up to 8-megapixel lenses in all of those solutions. So there's a broad scope of what it is that we can put on the table.
Awesome. Another question is, the cloud connector is supposed to act as a bridge to replacing a third-party equipment with Avigilon equipment?
Sort of. We talk often about a bridge to the cloud inside of a cloud solution. Instead, when we talk about, let's go there. Instead, when we talk about the cloud connectors, a cloud connector is a replacement today, a replacement for your existing NVR or DVR, if that's what you still have, which by the way, we run into a lot. This NVR, again, Linux on the backside, provides the recording location for the existing camera infrastructure that you have today and brings analytics to the table for every one of those lenses. The long term, so short term, it is another place to record video. The long term plan then is that we can take this and make it so that you don't have to move cameras over today, but as you replace cameras, you replace them with the cloud camera portfolio, and eventually this box never is needed again. So instead of ripping everything out and going all the way to cameras, which sometimes is a difficult investment to make, this is an easier way to do it. And there's a lot of variety of factors that go into a conversation, like what's the difference in cost? So I won't, I can't promise anybody anything, but typically what I've seen in these conversations is about a 25 to 45% lower option to do a cloud connector. So about 25 to, let's call it 40% of the overall cost of ripping everything out. It's about 40% of that total cost to do it with a cloud connector in the short
I
term.
While we're on this vein, is the license pricing better for Avigilon cameras than it is for devices coming in via the cloud connector?
Great question. They're all the same. Every camera endpoint that we bring into the system is licensed, regardless of whether it's a third party camera or an Avigilon camera.
That's awesome. And I have another one. Our school district, one of the high schools, we've issued access HID badges to the students. Currently, we are on-prem with ACM 6. Does Alta
Okay.
Access have any solutions for updating batch students' access and badges? We eventually want to be able to automate a student's access to a building during the period they are in. That's a cool question.
Yeah, and there's a lot of detail in that. The quick answer to your question is off the top of my head, I'm not 100% sure. So, what I would like to do is have Anna take that in hand, and we
Happy
can
to do that.
take your info and we can get you a quick answer to that question on the backside.
And I know the answer to this, but I'd like you to talk about how is it possible to get a demo license for Alta Access and video?
Yeah, for either or both, and from a infrastructure perspective, oftentimes what we'll do in the conversation is take one of these cloud connectors and locate it and bring a couple cameras over it and let you even see what that looks like. So, yes, the ability to do that is definitely there, and we would just want to talk. What do you want to see? What are the things you want to solve for? Let's make sure you see those things.
That's perfect. I think that's it if you want to switch back over to your video for the moment anyway. Keep them coming, you
Yep,
guys.
I totally get it. That's awesome. So let's go here. So hopefully that gives you a bigger picture of what it is that we're kind of talking about here. There's a lot more involved today with what's happening inside of not just an event, but how deep do we need to be critically connected? And you see the example in there that was about a 12-minute window of time between the first contact with the individual and resolving the situation. That's obviously very quick. In this particular case, that means there's a whole lot of things involved in terms of what's in place. At the same time, I always hear law enforcement officials, folks that I know who used to be in law enforcement. One of our colleagues on our team now, Ryan Knoll, was in law enforcement in Minneapolis for a while. The faster we can get communication to the right people with as much data and information as possible for them to help, the better off we're going to be in any one of those situations. And the crux of this is behind the scenes inside of Motorola, we're connecting larger things. So, yes, all the things on the left hand side are things that we do very well. The heart of what I've talked about already is video access control, and I brought in the little smart sensor stuff. But we can do weapons detection at the door if that's something that you want. We do have rave panic alerting and notifications on the backside so that we can provide more information to folks as quickly as we need to. We can do license plate recognition inside of our systems. And then it can go directly to local law enforcement or county law enforcement or state law enforcement or ambulance, fire, et cetera, where whatever is needed in that moment. And then finally, in the back end, to be able to not just notate what happened, figure out what we need to save, but also report to mom and dad in a school district or to the local businesses around a large enterprise. The ability to make sure that people understand what's happening and that they get a note of some communication related to the conclusion of the event is critical and something that everybody wants to be able to do, and it feels very difficult. Inside of this ecosystem of things that we do at Motorola, we have options for all those things, and they can be easily connected with the right conversation and the right tools in place. So while I'm not a radio expert, let's talk just for a minute about what does this mean. So I'll use a school example as the place that will be. It's the easy kind of one to talk about. It's where we do a lot of our conversations. So if you're a school, that's awesome. This Moto Turbo radio is a thing that we see often in the hands of folks at a school district, whether you're an admin or, again, an athletic director. These might be on the buses. We've seen Moto radios on the buses in a lot of different places. It's easy to set up a system in which a video security alert goes off and something like what you just saw in that video happens where we need to lock down the school. What communication is available to you today to get that notification to your buses in the incident where the person who could pick up that radio mic isn't available to be on the radio? How do you get that message to them? We could set up an automated message on the backside that would play a pre-recorded message to the radio on the bus, or turn on a light on the bus that says, we're in a lockdown situation at the school, don't come to the school, go to your secondary location. That can be an automated part of the process behind the scenes inside of the Motorola ecosystem. And again, you may have Motorola radio on your bus. These pieces may be in place, and we might just be talking about you reaching out to somebody on the ByteSpeed team to help you get connected with your Motorola folks and saying, I've got all the stuff this guy talked about. This Matt guy had this conversation with us. What do I need to do? Am I missing anything? Do I need to add something to the back end of my solution so that I can do what he talked about or the video that he showed? I promise you, on our team, everyone will know that video and be able to make reference to and leverage the teammates that we need to be able to have those conversations. If it does go to Rave Mobile Safety, what does this do for us? You can see on the right-hand side, it's an app that lives on the phone of, let's call it, every teacher in the district if you want, and could give you an active assailant notification in the top in a main button, but maybe it's also fire. Maybe there's a medical emergency and I'm using the AED, but we need ambulance to show up. This, again, automates the communication related to what's happening at the school and allows the people who need to be involved outside of the district to be notified immediately and provided as much information as is relevant to that particular situation. On the back end of an event, we just talked about, I mentioned that we can do that notification piece, what happens behind the scenes. Parents can get notified of an event that happens. I as a parent in school, and you guys probably have a similar experience, if you do have an incident that happens, there's a method of communication that your local district might be using, or as a district, you have a method in place. would it be easier to have folks communicating through a subscription alert they can get as being just a parent in the district? An event happened at the high school. We send the notification to the right group of people who are parents of kids in the high school, and they get exactly what happened and they know exactly what the story is instead of the rumor mill being what it is. So that mass communication after the fact can be a part of that. And within this, when a rave alert, when a rave mobile safety or a rave alert goes off, if there's something happening like an assailant in the building, that can connect to lockdown and takeover of screens in any room that's there, so that you get an automated message for the people in the room who aren't in that part of the building that there is an event going on and they do need to maybe shelter in place, and it gives them very specific instructions on the screen that's by them. So all kinds of different ways to connect all these environments together. Critically, then we're connected to the folks who are in masscom. Who are your local dispatchers? What do we need to be able to get there, and how do we coordinate even a simple thing but also major incidents? How do we make sure that everybody's getting where they need to go as quickly as possible? The ability to communicate in that Motorola infrastructure becomes highly prized when we get into an incident like that. It's something you hope you never need, but you're very excited about it when it becomes a thing that is available to you. So, big picture, what did we talk about? Why is this significant and important? Avigilon does have a really robust and secure, easy way to do video security and access control in the cloud. Um, it gets better every day. We just updated the back end of it this week and added some really key things that we were all looking forward to seeing added to the system in terms of functionality. And everyone has received them now. That started going out about a week and a half ago. Now every customer has access to that updated set of functionalities. In addition to that, making things more proactive. We can do, again, the people counts, the heat mapping, the ability to have these functions as a core part of what it is your video security and access control brings to the table, and that it's all integrated. I can connect a door access point at the back of the elementary school when the door gets propped open in the spring because we're going to take the second graders out to play on the playground. How long is that door open? If it's open for more than 20 minutes, I want a notification in the principal's office so that you get the idea. We can do all that and connect everything together really easily. When we get beyond video security and access on the basic level, what are your critical communications accessibility? What does it look like? How does that work today? Are we reliant on a person to make a phone call? Is there how many people are involved before the right level of emergency situation folks get involved? Can we make that fewer people so that we can get it to the right set of people as quickly as possible? I'm a believer that there should always be people in the chain. So if there's an event that goes off, let's validate with a human that that event is as critical as the system is telling me that it is, and then take the next step. And that initial check notification can go to one person or it can go to 10 people so that somebody addresses it as quickly as possible. And then when we get into emergency management and other things that are involved, are we getting those people access to all the information and data they need to do their jobs effectively? Because that's a really important and critical part of making an event go off as quickly and safely as possible. Within this ecosystem of things that we're doing at the Motorola level, certainly at the core of it, and where I'm focused and where Anna's team and the ByteSpeed folks are focused on, is getting that video security and access control nailed down. But we have the ability to provide you information relative to other things that you should expect to be able to connect as seamlessly as possible into your safety and security ecosystem. We're enhancing that safety, we're improving the efficiency of communication, and we're making it happen in a way that you may already be able to take advantage of. That's all of the things I have to talk specifically about. I'm going to stop my share and come back to the front of the screen and invite anybody that has questions, fire away, things I can help with. Okay. And it looks like I got you back.
Did we just hang up on everybody or
Nope, we were still going. Just you.
just me? I'm so sorry, everybody. My internet went out on my laptop and I was going, oh man. Oh,
I'm
I'm
glad we
so
got you back.
sorry.
We just
Well,
wrapped
I'm
up.
happy that it didn't mess you guys up at all, so that's good.
I from what I can see, I see everybody still connected. I haven't heard from anybody, but it seems like we
Can you see if there's
uh
any questions in the Q&A? Because from my mobile device, I don't see Q&A as an option here.
all I see is a thank you from Nathaniel. Nathaniel, thank you. Appreciate you
Oh,
jumping
here we
in and
go.
being a part of
Yeah,
this for sure. So really, for me, it's
I
hand back
just
to the ByteSpeed team. I think your steps, folks. If you heard things or saw things that you want more information on, I would encourage you to get connected with your local ByteSpeed team, whoever it is on Anna's team that helps you where you are. Get connected with those folks, and we'll jump in wherever they're asking us to be a part of this. But we appreciate the opportunity to do this and the partnership that put this in place for us.
thank you so much, Matt. We're excited about this partnership. Like I mentioned, I think it's just a great one. I love your guys' approach, and we're excited about doing more projects here as we move into this next year. So please reach out to your ByteSpeed team. Reach out to me personally if you want. I'm happy to help coordinate anything that you need. We've got a whole team that's focused on security projects. We've got an installation team. So we've got a lot of resources here to help you with planning and deployment and the benefit of this awesome team from Avigilon here to reach out to too. So thank you everybody for coming. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. Um, I got two more questions that just popped into the chat there.
Yeah.
One is how does Avigilon compare with Verkada?
Do you want to do that one, or do you want me to, or do we want to both?
Uh, well, I will say, I mean, it's probably not a secret, you guys, we do work with Verkada as well. Probably what I would can say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is um, they're kind of like an all-inclusive, all or nothing in their approach. And so that good technology. I wouldn't pick on their technology. I think their technology is fantastic, but it's really hard for some organizations because you have to just kind of go in all or nothing. They're very a little bit like Apple. Our stuff only works with our stuff, and then when you get into a solution like Avigilon, there's like a lot more interoperability across different platforms and lots more options to kind of scale in at your own pace. So I think I think that's really kind of the biggest thing that I would say and the difference. And the other thing I will say is I really like the Avigilon. They hire a lot of security experts. So you're going to talk to people who are coming out of commercial city county environments that have a lot of different experience. So um, they have a lot of different options in the way that their solution moves forward, and then a lot of different ways that you can deploy it. What would you add anything over to that, Matt?
No, and I would agree with all that. I think it's they're great points that you make. Part of what I talked about early on is that not only can we bring things in from your existing environment, but even though we won't want you to leave, we'll allow you to go take your stuff wherever you need to after you've begun to make some investments with us because it's your investment and you need to be able to leverage it for as long as possible. I think that's one of the big standouts. And I think the secondary thing is kind of where we spent the last 10 minutes or so is, what do we have from a um, extra critical communications side of the world, and how do we interface with those folks on a regular basis? We're going to continue to build out that infrastructure and make it as robust as we possibly can. So I'm excited to see that continue to develop. I see the one
The
here
other,
too related to
yeah,
Unity.
yeah.
It's similar from a camera perspective. So if you're a Unity customer today, the physical cameras that you would see come out that are Alta cameras are exactly the same cameras that you've been using as a Unity customer. When we and we manufacture those cameras. They're made here in North America, the overwhelming majority of them made in just outside of Dallas, Texas. When those come to the end of the production line, essentially what happens is those cameras get chosen either as a cloud camera or an on-premise camera, and the right things are added after the fact. But the physical hardware that's there, with the exception of the SD card, is exactly the same on either side, depending on what it is that you're trying to do. From a pricing perspective, I would tell you that, and I think this is true of all things related in a capabilities view of the video security and access control marketplace, but we'll talk specifically about Unity right now. An investment in Alta, if I could start from nothing, an investment in Alta and an investment in Unity for, let's call it 100 cameras. If you get 5-year licensing in the Alta side of the world, it's going to be about the same amount of dollars, almost, within 2-3%, as it would be to invest in 100 cameras with the NVR that's required for that solution to invest for 5 years. I would compare it at about a 5-year cost of ownership side of things. And the advantage on the Alta side is we're constantly updating the solution, not only in the software and what you see in the interface, but also if you're investing in the cameras and the rest of the infrastructure, we're doing all the security updates, all the firmware updates, anything that needs to happen in the field. We're doing all of that work so that you don't have to even think about it as you move down the road. Hopefully that answers your question.
And we all have lots of time to manage and maintain all those updates and stay
Right.
on top of all that
Exactly.
stuff, right? So, and then how does the Unity Access GUI functionality compare to like Alta Access?
Yeah, from a functionality perspective, they're both incredibly robust and granular in terms of what you can do and how much you can control. I would tell you, and I'm certainly biased, you can hold me to this, but I believe that the interface on the the interface on the cloud side of our business is a cleaner, more logical interface than the unit. And I think we're getting to the point where that's getting tighter, but the cloud interface that we're using on a regular basis is it's very it's app based. I mean, you have to think about it like I need to be able to get into something and just start using it. It's the way that the Alta Access and video side of the world live. I'm going to put the information in front of you. I'm going to point you to what it is you're looking for. And if you can't get to what you need, there's a little question mark in the top right of any of the screens that you go to, and it says, I'm on the search function. It'll bring you to a documents page from us that says, here's what you might need to do inside the search function. So we're trying to make it as easy as we can in the cloud side of things. I love Unity, by the way. It's a super robust, incredible solution. I would love the school that you have to know a little more to be really good at it than it does on the cloud side.
Any other questions here before we wrap up for the day? Happy to get that demo set up for you. And so, yeah, absolutely reach out. I'm sure we can, I'm sure we'd be able to help get that going. So I hope you all have a really, really good day. Matt, thank you so much. I'm sorry about the technical difficulties. It looks like the internet went out in our building. So of course that kind of thing always happens right when you're in the middle of something where there's always something, but yeah, right? So somebody cut a cord somewhere. Hopefully it'll get back up and running again soon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Great job, Matt.
Yeah.
Anna, thank you. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you guys so
and
much.
Let us know where we can jump in
I hope
and help.
everybody has a
Matt
great
Evans.
day. Thank you, Matt, very much.
Thanks, guys.
All right.